Go on out. And then we can begin. Hmm. Okay. Righty. We want to go ahead and all right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Beautiful day to you. Okay, we're just gonna give it a few more minutes for the notification to go on out, and then we are going to begin. I'm really thinking that this is probably going to be a two-part message because I have a headache. Hey, how you doing? How are you? I have a headache, but today this is going to be a part two. Um, Staying committed to my promise. I am showing up. Okay. Thank you so much for putting a thumbs up on the video. All right. So we're gonna give it a few more minutes while people come on in. And for those of you that are doing playback, this is going to be a channel message. I explained to you guys that everything means something. So energetically, as above, so below. Okay. We got two comets in the stars right system right now that's driving our geographers crazy because they're doing amazing things in the heavens and they can't figure out why. Oh, thank you so much. It's good to have your energy here. Okay. It's so good to have your energy here. Um, the more of us tapping in together, we are helping each other to remember. This is all about you remembering who you are, remembering your power, remembering that you have the power to speak to the ethers and watch things transform. Okay, for you. So just remember that as we're moving forward. Okay. So I do want to remind you, as above, so below. It doesn't matter what text you are coming from. All of the ancient text points to the same direction, which means everything is within you. Okay. Now, energy that we are rocking with, that the channel message is coming in today. We're going to look at the bottom of the deck energy. But before I tap in, let's just go ahead and clear the ear. Okay. I want to go ahead and clear the ear. So let me just give my disclaimers really quickly, and then I'm going to go ahead and charge the atmosphere, so my throat chakra, as well as your throat chakra, can start to begin its alignment as we're tapping into this energy. Okay. So my disclaimer here is these messages are not for everyone. Okay. Which means if you are not here to do your work and look within, you may not resonate with any of these messages that I am transmitting out to you. All right. Access is going to be granted based on what your inner belief system or your inner knowing is. All right. So the universe, God, Buddha, Allah, they're not going to give you more than you can bear. Okay. So if you don't feel you are ready for certain information or to have access to certain things, you will be limited in your journey. Not that it's hidden from you, right? But it's hidden for you because you can't go into certain realms unless you're ready. All right. So you need to keep that in mind. Access is granted to you based on your inner belief system or your inner knowing. All right. Energy is fluid. I can say that this is your energy, but it feels more like the energy you're interacting with. So you want to go ahead and place the energy where it needs to be. And last but not least, and I think this is the most important thing for you or any soul traveler that's in this room right now to remember. Okay. I am not your own. I'm not your guru. You are your own guru. Okay. So there's nobody out here that can be your guru. You have to be your own guru. Okay. We can give you steps. We can help each other. We can light a path that you need to go down. We can give you insight, right? But you ultimately have to be your own guru. You have to be your own savior because no one can save you on this journey. Okay. So please keep that in mind. Okay. Now, I'm here all about my assignment, right? Last activation in the eclipse of last year put me into a hermit mode where my heart was broken, my world was shattered. I had to start over from basics, which means I had nowhere to run but to myself. Okay. And within running to myself, there was also an initiation and activation that transpired, not just for myself, but for all who are now remembering that we're now finding each other. Okay. So I can pretty much guarantee if you look back into the last eclipse of last year, all right, probably between late August to I want to say coming into Thanksgiving, take a look about some of the major changes and shift, people entering or exiting out of your life. Okay. Things coming back around for you to deal with that you can't take into this next season would have shown up last year because the energy that we're now encountering. Okay. With the Comets, Three Eye Atlas, as well as A6 Lemmon. All right. Now that I've got that out of that way, let me go ahead and clear the ears so I can go ahead and start this channel message. Okay. I want to go ahead and clear my throat chakra. That's a little flat. Okay. That's a little flat. That's not what I'm looking for. That's a lot better. Okay. That's definitely better. All right. And one more in the same spot that I started. Okay. It's balanced now. All right. All right. First, I need to go ahead and share symbolically what each of these comets mean so that way you can begin your remembrance process. Okay. I do want to set my intention, and my intention with these videos are to come in to this shared space with you as I'm guided, as well as to come in with coherence, truth, clarity, all right, and love. Okay, so the wisdom that I'm bringing forth, remember, if you do not resonate with it, do not try to force it. If you don't understand something, shelf it so you can circle on back. All right, so you take what you need at this moment, leave what doesn't resonate, and shelf what you don't understand. All right, I am just here to help you to remember in this process. All right, now we're not talking about all of the gifts that we all have. This is just part of the process. I'm here to help you remember who you are. Okay, so when we're dealing with Three Eye Atlas, you need to know that we're dealing with masculine energy in the atmosphere. That energy is representing the Christos energy, okay, or the crystalline grid. Okay, when we're talking about the crystalline grid, we're really talking about your bioelectrical magnetic field, or what you will call your auric field. Okay, so you don't have an auric field only. The earth itself also has an auric field, and that field will be considered the crystalline grid. Okay. So you're going to be hearing terms like this, not just from myself, but from other channel messages and other people that's coming online also. Okay. So this is the research that you need to go on down and look up for yourself. All right. So when we're talking about the grid, any grid is connected to your bioelectrical magnetic field. This is your auric field, okay, or your subtile bodies, all right? So that's the foundation for that, all right? And the Three Eye Atlas energy is a representation of that crystal grid line, what we talk about when you're activating your 12 strand DNA. All right, that would be the 12th chakra system or the 12th octave. Okay, now I'm not going to go into a lot of how that is transpiring in this video. I will do that in another video. This is just foundation for you to know energetically where this resonance is coming from. Okay, the second energy that you need to pay attention to that's in the ethers right now that's sending out activation codes to us is A6 Lemmon. These comets are doing amazing things. They're spitting out energy, and they're spitting out these energies in spirals. Okay, you got to pay attention to the spirals. Okay, spirals are the code, the transmissions. Okay, scientists are dumbfounded because they do not understand why these comets are behaving and acting the way that they do. But I remember, and a lot of us are remembering, okay? These comments are coming in to help you to remember. As above, so below. There's nothing happening in the heavens that's not happening within you, okay? So these comets are in a solar system, and what's happening is they're also being bombarded by the sun. So it's important to know the sun energy, okay? also dwells within you. Okay, some people call it the black sun, the inner Ra. It doesn't matter what terminology that you have in it. That is your spirit, your essence, the pure version of you that dwells inside. Some of you may have even experienced what you consider to be the black sun in meditation. When you close your eyes, you can see a black circle emanating of light. That will be your black sun. All right. Now, A6 lemon is a representation of the Sophianic grid. So this is uh, Sophianic grid. Okay, I don't know what's going on with my words today. All right, so A6 lemon is represented the Sophianic grid line, and that is a grid line that covers the Earth's grid, so it covers the crystalline grid, and that is the grid that you can call, let's say, the grid of into like what we call prosperity or psychic abilities or anything where you can foresee what's coming. All right, this is a grid of wisdom and truth that covers the earth, and this is feminine energy. Both of these comments are representation of masculine and feminine energy, which is activating the unity consciousness within you. Okay, so it's purifying your ego so your ego can come online, aka your masculine energy, the part of yourself, right, that does deductive reasoning and thinking, and the part of yourself that's going to protect your intuitive part. All right. So you need to know that there is energy coming in to support you. This is why your intuition may feel like it's coming more on point now. This is why you can find that you're standing up more for your boundaries right now. This is why you're now feeling like you don't owe people explanations. This is why you can now tap in when someone is draining your energy. Okay. So all of these things are happening, and that these comments are supporting your awakening process, or AKA your remembering process. Okay. It's important for both of these comments to be in the heavens at the same time, too. All right. So it's not by mistake you're seeing both of these comments in the heaven. All right. Now, you also want to pay attention to the hue of the comments. And when I say hue of the comments, they're telling me that's the color of the comment, because that's important also. Okay. So, A3 Atlas is showing up green on some telescopes, and A6 Lemon is showing up blue on some telescopes. And I've seen it blue and green, the A6 Lemon. All right, both of those represents healing energy. The green represents healing the heart chakra. Okay, and you can only connect and heal your grids, or heal your relationships, or heal yourself through your heart chakra. This is the gateway to everything. Okay. So unforgiveness is not about somebody getting away with something. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself. Okay. When you have unforgiveness or resentment in your heart, you're blocking the connection. All right. So work on forgiving people. This is going to be important in this energy. You got to work on forgiving people. All right. You need to know. So the green is representing heart chakra energy. Okay. Now, when we're stepping over to the blue energy, that seems to be now showing up on A6 Lemon's portion, that blue energy is a representation of your throat chakra. Okay. So you are going to have to learn to start speaking from the deepest parts of your heart in truth and wisdom. Your words in this energy carry power, they will not return to you void. Okay. So if you speak a thing, even if you think a thing, all right, please know that your thoughts and your words are now being activated in this season. I can't even make this shit up because y'all heard me shuffle these decks. Okay. Air energy represents your thoughts. Air energy is also the indication of your throat chakra. You're speaking your words. Okay. Please understand your words are not returning void to you in this season. Let me show you how this can play out on an energetic level for you in your real time, day to day life, because this shit is not a joke. Okay. Say, for example, you want to call out from work. You want to call out from work, right? And you call out from work and you told them you got a sore throat and your whole body aches. All right. And you're doing the cough and everything. And you got your day off, you got your time, what they call your sick day leave. Okay. You put that sick day in, you fit to get paid for the day, right? Now we're 3 days down the line. Now, three is representation of manifestation, right? Because that happens in the cycle of three. Okay. Now we're 3 days down the line and you're wondering why your throat hurting. You just spoke in the fucking ethers that your throat was hurting. So you think it's a mistake now 3 days later, you got a sore throat? It's not a mistake. Please understand your words are not coming back void. And some of you are waking up to who the fuck you are, and you are powerful. Stop wasting your words. They have energy. If you're going to speak anything into the ethers, make sure that it is for your environment of positive and uplifting, or bringing healing or clarification, right, into your situation. Speak life into your situations, okay? Anything that's dead and stagnant will not survive. That includes your words, okay? So if you have dead and stagnant words towards relationships, situations, partnerships, those things cannot be sustained because you are not speaking life into them. All right? You want to go back to basic 101? You could get the book called The Game of Life and How to Play It. Yes, it's a bit, it may be biblical in nature, but once you get past the biblical stuff, right, and you're looking at the truthful words that they're speaking, that books allow you to know the way that you play this game called life. One of the weapons that you have, or not even weapons, one of the tools that you have, one of the wands that you have is your words. Your spelling or spells, okay? So wield your wand, wield your spelling, and pay attention to what you're putting out in the ethers, because it's not coming back void in this season. Okay? Please know that. Some of you out here got so much power in you, and you just not even directing your power properly. The name of the game in this energy is your intention. What is your intention? And then once you can locate your intention, you can direct that intention with precision using your words. Okay. So what we finna start doing starting tomorrow, I'm gonna start teaching y'all how to do that. Starting tomorrow, before we start these lives, we finna charge our water. I'm gonna teach y'all how to do this. Okay. Starting tomorrow, we're going to start charging our water so you can understand how this really works. Okay. Now, let me explain to you why that is important also, because more than 70% of your body is water. So if you can speak to this glass of water right here and tell this glass of water what to do, don't you think you could speak to the water energy in your body and tell it what to do, tell it to heal itself? So when we start talking about the mystics from back in the days and Jesus turning water into wine and all of this stuff and walking on water and all of this stuff, man, they talking about managing your emotions and flowing through life. And yes, some of you, will probably get to the point in this walk if you're doing the work enough where you can levitate. There are people out here that's really about this game, and they've tapped into powers that we may think is magical and mystical, but it's really within a bloodline to do so. Your bloodline has the DNA coding to unlock everything. Those superheroes that we be seeing on TV, that's you. That's you. AKA, that's you. Okay? So, air energy is going to require you to not only pay attention to what philosophy and belief system or indoctrination that you may have been connected to. All right? But it's also going to ask you to move forward with discernment. Okay, move forward with empathy. Now, I'm just going to tell you right now, because I got that video coming. You are not going to be able to get past this, my wonderful empaths, if you have not discovered your kryptonite when it comes to the savior complex. Okay, empaths come with a known energy of wanting to naturally help heal people. And what happens is, right, the impact of the savior complex is you have not quite learned yet that you cannot save anyone but yourself. And the way that you help people heal, my love, is by healing yourself. It's an activation thing. So once you activate the healing within you, right, you can now show up in a space and help another activate the healing within them. All right. There's a science to this. Everything that I'm unpacking here, there's a science to this. All right. These comets that's coming in, they're holding activation codes. They're being hit by the sun. Have you ever sun gazed and saw symbols? Have you ever sun gazed and felt like you gained a whole bunch of information and knowledge about a situation that was bothering you? Well, have you ever just sat in the sun, and even if you weren't sun gazing, and recharged? The sun is literally charging these two comets. The sun is bombarding these comets, right, with this energy. Now, I want to say, I think it's 3-eye Atlas that's coming pretty close to is what they call the what is it called? It's when the comet gets closest to the sun, right? Perhelium. I don't. There's a word for when the sun, for when the comet gets reaches its highest point next to the sun. Okay, both of these comets are approaching that. Now, I want you to be mindful because that energy is coming in fast, and this is why I'm telling you. From the 30th of October up until about the 5th of October, be mindful how you move. The energy is explosive. Okay, so arguments are going to go from disagreements to fists. Arguments can go quickly from misunderstanding to fuck you, now I'm trying to hurt you. Okay, so the less you say, or if you watch the spells, aka your words, your spelling that you're casting, is going to be important. Stay away from people that are volatile between the 20, I would really say starting today until about November 5th. If you know that you mingle with somebody that don't mind popping off in this season, do not be close to anybody with pop off energy for the next, from now up until about the 5th, okay? Because we're coming close to a anorexic degree in Scorpio. Scorpio about that life. Just so you know, that energy is about that life. And the interesting thing about that energy is it can hurt more because it's gonna go for the deep. This is not going to be a surface wound or surface. So whatever's unfolding between now and November 4th within relationships that can explode, this is life changing. This is energy that you cannot come back from. Can't come back from this energy. Or you can't come back from whatever this situation is, whether it's you put hands on somebody, somebody put hands on you, somebody done did something purposely to purposely hurt you, somebody, whatever it is in this energy, this is, you cannot take it back. Whatever's being put out, this no take back seats. No take back seats. All right. These comments are also producing codes where you're tapping into your ancient memory. You're going into halls, not just the halls of a mentee, but there's also halls like the halls of Tasico. The halls of Tatsku. These are halls that lie in between the crystalline grid as well as the Sophian grids. Okay, so these are halls that you may not necessarily find in the Akashic records. There are more rooms beside the Akashic records, and these comets are opening up portals to the access beyond the Akashic or the Akashai. Okay, in order for you to gain access into these realms and into these portals, you are going to have to balance your nervous system. That is going to be key. Your nervous system is the gateway that's needed to access these portals. Your nervous system is the system that's going to be receiving these light codes coming in from these two comets in conjunction with the sun. Please understand that the sun and these two comets create a triangle, which is the symbol of manifestation. This is the Holy Trinity right here. So all three of these positioning in the sky is creating a Holy Trinity within the energy. You can go ahead and go down the research and Google what Lemmon means, and Google, like, you can do your own research on this. From an energetic level, you do need to know that you are going to be responsible for everything within your reality or your world from moving this point on. You will not be able to blame another for your pain, for your disappointment, or for your grief. I mean, you can, but it's not going to get you nowhere, right? The name of the game is experience. So it's kind of like a buffet, right? So you go out to a buffet, they have all these beautiful looking things in the buffet. Some of them smell delicious. Some of them look good. So you sample something that smelled delicious and that looked good. But when you sampled it, you didn't like the texture. Maybe it was too salty, whatever it was, that it just wasn't for you, right? So now you know now The next time you go back up, maybe to make you a plate, or the next time you circle back to this restaurant, that portion of whatever that was on the buffet, although it smelled delicious and it looked beautiful, you know that that is not for you because your experience the last time it wasn't an experience that you care to have. That's the same way that you should be moving through this energy. You've had enough experience with different energy archetypes and patterns to know what feels good, what feels authentic, what feels genuine, what feels truthful, and what doesn't. It's a texture thing. It's an energy thing, right? No more walking into a room and your energy vibes out that somebody is off and something is off with this person, and your energy tells you you need to stay away from this person. But because everybody in the rooms is friends with this person, you try to be polite and you still try to force yourself maybe into accepting or liking a person when energetically you've already been warned that this is not a person that you want in your inner circle. So it's time to start listening to yourself because your body's going to tell you, right? And then your higher self is going to whisper. And let's talk about the higher whispers that are coming in because with these comments, higher whispers are coming in. The question is, have you learned to trust the higher whispers? And let me just also say this, these are like receptors, okay? So they're coming in, I'm sorry, like transmitters, right? And in some places, even oscillators, like they're coming in to oscillate the energy and the frequency to a different level. Some of you are going to be tapping into energy, not just in this realm. Now, I'm going to say this, okay? Because we keep it truthful here. They did not invent a space program just to have a fucking space program. I'm going to say that. They have a space program because there is people out there for us to be in touch with in space. Our original way that we have been made to contact over the eons and millions of years where our souls have been evolution because we've been here for longer than we've been told that we've been here. All right, shit. They even changed the date, right? They subtracted 5,500 and about approximately 10 years off of the calendar that we know now, and then we don't understand why our history doesn't make any sense because the dates of some of the artifacts don't match, right? They seem to be way older than what we have identified, and that because time was changed. You don't believe me? Go look it up. These comments also represent an age where all information is going to be able to be accessed pertaining to the next journey or the next step of this evolution as far as us as human beings. All right. I'm also being told, please do not get caught up into culture war and color of skin. That is an illusion. They keep referencing hue, man, hue, man, many colors of men. Hue means color and men. Okay? Hue, man, many colors of man. Do not get caught up in what we would call a class system. Okay? This is not to ignore that there's not different things going on in different cultures, but the way that you were to use this energy coming in is to create unity consciousness. And the only way to create unity consciousness is first becoming unified within your logical and your intuitive, aka masculine and feminine energy. And then you can push that out externally, becoming one with yourself and then creating the space for others to be one with themselves. When you become one with yourself, you no longer see others as a threat because you are able to see the connection that you have with all things. But once again, it's a buffet table, right? So you don't gotta sample everything on the buffet table, right? It's a buffet table. All right. How can you start to tap into the activation? Because I'm not gonna leave you stuck. I'm finna give you some information on how you can tap into this energy if you think I'm fucking lying. All right. All right, so let me tell you how you're gonna fit in to tap into this energy. All right, so you can do this multiple ways. All right, but the main key here is going to be self observation. All right, this is where you're going to have to learn how to read subtle energies. All right, you need to get you a journal, some form of book. And the reason why I'm saying journal or some form of book or notepad or whatever, because as you track the process, this is going to be confirmation that you are not crazy. That Kamoy is, I might be a little touch, y'all, because they say it's a thin line between mystics and insanity, right? That's why we always get labeled that we insane, right? Because we just be talking about shit to the natural mind that don't make no sense. But this is where you're going to trap the sensual part of you, right? So you're finna get your journal. You finna, you can mark it activation, mark it whatever. But this is going to be a specific journal just for you to track this energy with Three Eye Atlas and Six Lemon. Now, keep in mind, like I said at the beginning of the video, Three Eye Atlas represents the masculine energy. It's activating the crystals grid line, which would be, right? You can say the masculine grid line. This is what they would call the Christ-like energy, okay? The crystals, okay? This is the energy that Jesus was talking about. This is the energy that they call nirvana, okay? So this is the beautiful, pure energy. When you get into this energy in meditation, this is the space that you don't want to leave because it feels so fucking good there. So you don't want to leave. You would never see so much love, so much peace, so much wholeness, so much understanding. When you get to a place in meditation where you found source and you rest in source, you want to come back. I promise you, and that alarm goes off, that your hour of meditation is done or whatever, man, listen. All right. So you're healing your mind. Three Eye Atlas is going to be working with your mental aspect of self. That is going to be left brain energy, but it's also going to be right brain body. Okay. So when we're dealing with masculine energy, we're dealing with left brain, logical, decision making, but we're also dealing with right brain right side of the body. Okay. So you want to pay attention to the energies and where your body might be tight because it's trying to get you to unblock spaces in your body so the energy can flow. This is why you need to drink a lot of water and ground yourself. Some of you may even find that you really don't turn on the TV much anymore. And some of you may even be affecting electronics. That's a real thing. Yeah, that is. Because your charge is getting stronger. So if you find that your electronical gears are acting crazy, right? Your TV just shutting off and jumping and doing all types of shit that it don't do. You holding your phone in your hand and all of a sudden your hands just feel hot, but you tap the phone, there's nothing wrong with the phone. My love, you're being activated. You know how much voltage you got shooting through your body, especially the closer when these comets get to the sun. Some of you may be feeling tired, like you need to rest, or maybe even overwhelmed mentally, like you got a mental fog because there's so much going on mentally. Emotionally, some of you may be purging and crying, and you don't even understand why. Some of you may be feeling like sick to your gut where you're throwing up and it's just mucus and all types of nasty shit coming out because you're purging and you're going through an activation, my love. Your body's becoming aligned with the cosmos. And now, when I explain to you that we are living on two different timelines, let me go ahead and grab my notebook out here so you guys can see some things that I'm talking about, right? Because this is important for you to know. There's codes and everything. This is why some of you see numbers repeatedly. I was just talking to Kia earlier today, and Kia was explaining to me that she see ones all of the time because she has a lot of ones in her birth date. And when I broke down to her what the ones mean, and she now has a connection. We spitting to play some tic-tac-toe numerology, y'all. Okay, we finna play some tic-tac-toe numerology. So we're gonna do 2025, and we are going to do 75, 30, right? If we were in the correct year before the calendar was changed, we would be in the year approximately 7530. Okay. This is important because this is coming from an ancient calendar system that not only used the solar aspect, but it also used the lunar aspect. So it dealt with feminine and masculine energy. Okay. And it tracked the cosmos. The calendar system that we use right now today does not track the cosmos. Okay, it only tracks the sun. Okay, so it's not necessarily tracking the moon and energy, it's only tracking the sun. It's only going off of the sun's energy. All right, now it is using the moon's energy when it comes to all potent energy shifts like eclipses, full moons. Okay, so it's still using the energy, but this is a distorted timeline, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, in numerology, there's three different planes that you are operating from at any given time, and some of us are not born operating in all three planes. So let's just plug in the numbers here. 2, 2, 5. That's what the year is bringing. Okay. Now, 225, we got a line here coming through here, and we got a line coming through here. I wish I had markers, um, but I don't. So we're just gonna work with what I had. 7, 5, 3. There's a line here. There's a reason why this is important. Okay. Let's start off with the 7530. Okay, this is just a visual so you guys can understand what is going on. Okay. In 7530, we got a line here too. I don't want to forget that one. We got 3 lines. Okay. In 7530, we only have one line running through the chart. Whenever you're doing numerology, this line represents spirituality. So this is where the great awakening is taking place, because some of us are operating from an ancient time system where our soul naturally was in hibernation, and now it is waking up. Okay. So this old calendar system is linked to the cosmos as well as the earth, and that calendar system is saying that this great awakening is happening, or this great remembrance is happening. All right. And just know that we have to get all the way up to 7 5, or not even 7 5, right? Yep. 7 5 9 9 9 before this switches over to 6. Okay. So we have years of this line running through a chart. So we got years of mastering our spirituality running through this chart. But when they changed the time or the dates, what they did, my loves, they fucked with the energy so you can be confused. This line right here at the top represents poor memory. So, of course, poor memory is going to be in this energy, because you're not supposed to remember who the fuck you are. You're not supposed to remember who you are. Right? You're not supposed to remember who you are. This line right here, down here, is a line of passivity. Okay? So not only do you not remember who you are, but you also have a passive energy within people, whether you want to call it matrix, whatever you want to call it, right? We got a lot of people living passively because they don't remember who they are. They're not taking this shit over here seriously, right? Because they don't know we're operating in 2 different timelines. All right? Hey, Taj. So the real timeline over here from ancient times that would have still been effective if they did not change it is saying that this great awakening is happening because we have the line of spirituality running through this chart for at least, we're in 2030 now, right? So we got at least over 60 years, or about 60 years before this energy shifts. All right. Now there's an important date that's coming up in 7535. And in 2030, that's another major shift, y'all, because this is, listen, y'all, this shit is about energy. Your energy is your fucking currency. Your energy is your currency, and what you give your energy and attention to is what grows. All right. So not only in 2025, we got the hour of poor memory, we got the hour of passivity, but we also have the hour of practical, being practical. When you're practical, you're not so spiritual. When you're being practical, this line down here is all physical. This is just automatic doing. On this line, let me get some markers so y'all can see, because I need y'all to understand this. Hold on, y'all. I think I got markers here, and I do. I need y'all to really understand something here. Okay. You got the line of poor memory going on here. Okay, that's poor memory. You forgot who the fuck you was. Okay. All right. No. I'm finna show you something right here. We finna go through this so you can really see what the fuck is going on here, right? Then you got your line of practicality, right? And when you're on the line of practicality, that's all physical shit. That's all automatic doing, right? You don't even have to think on the line of practicality, right? If it makes sense, it makes sense. You are not using nothing from your intuitive portion right here on this line. All right, so you forgot who you were. You ain't using nothing on there from that line. Nothing from that line. Nothing. And then not only am I gonna make you forget, you're just gonna not tap into your spirit, right? I'm finna show you. You finna be passive while you do all of that shit. You finna be passive. So when somebody's passive, somebody you can subliminally tell them what to do, what to feel. This is why people's up in arms about the political system, right? Now, and let me just tell you this: some of us that's here spiritually, your job is to stand in the front line and help people in that arena. But some of us are not here to. Some people are here to help people in this arena over here, and some of us are here to show the masters or the people that's graduating to a different level how to work this line right on over here. Okay? This is real shit. If the time in the calendar was not changed, we would be in the year 7530. You think I'm playing? Go look it up. We doing tic-tac-toe numerology here. I'm just showing y'all some shit here, okay? Please know this is not called tic-tac-toe numerology. So don't go looking. I mean, I don't even know if they call it tic-tac-toe numerology. You got Chat GPT, so Chat GPT might be able to figure out what I'm talking about, but this is not what they call it. Please, okay? So please, I haven't even looked it up because this is not. I just call it like that because it reminds me of a tic-tac-toe playing tic-tac-toe. Okay, and I'm able to show you the lines of the energy. Your energy is your currency. Where you put your energy and your attention to, aka fuel with your emotional intention, okay, or your emotional feelings. If you're mad and you're fueling more thoughts with emotions of being mad, then that madness is going to produce an action, and that action is going to produce an outcome. But energetically, you're already set up over here to fucking fail. Like you're already set up because this energy right here is pure chaotic energy. So you're already setting up to fail because you don't remember who the fuck you are. You're not really supposed to tap into your spiritual nature here because they dumb, you're dumbed down, right? And not only are you practical, but you're passive, so you can't even come on now. So with all of that rant that I just went off on, okay, what's happening over here is activation of three eye atlas and 8-6 lemon. This energy is activating these things. Positive energy, masculine energy, negative energy, feminine polarity. Christos energy, Sophia's energy, Sophionic energy. Okay? This is what's going on right now. This is why you can say there's something going on, but you can't quite put your finger on it. This is what we would call living in the matrix, right? Because it's here to keep you stuck. And this was purposely done, just so you know. Because when you fuck with the coding system, or you throw the calendar system offline, then you cannot connect with the cosmos, and you are the fucking cosmos. You are the cosmos. So this energy is sending out negative polarity charge, positive polarity charge, aka masculine and feminine charges, and you are the grounding energy. You ever notice when it rains for too long, you just feel off? Especially if you're an empath, you just feel off, right? Did I even pull cards yet? I didn't even pull any cards yet, y'all. I just flipped over the energy um, to let you know where we were. This is happening, y'all. We can't hide it anymore. They can't hide it anymore. They don't even know why the comments are behaving the way they're behaving. And according to Stefan Burns, he's saying that when these comments are doing special things, there's footage missing at the most important point when the sun is hitting these comets. They're not showing those footages. But I'm telling you, my love, they don't need to show those footages because if you're tapped in and tuned in, you can feel this shit already happening. There's going to be a part two to this video because I'm going to come back in and break down some things on a scientific level for you with these planets, as well as breaking down some of the spiritual things that's happened within these comets. Okay, you will hear me referring to an ancient timeline and our distorted timeline. Okay, whenever I talk about the distorted timeline, please know that I'm talking about the current timeline that we're in now, year 2025. When I'm talking about the ancient timeline, we were going to be doing numerology or any type of mapping, strategic mapping that I'm going to be doing from an ancient timeline. I will be using the ancient timeline date stamps because they are not just matching up with your body and what's going on with you, they're also matching up with what's going on in the cosmos. Okay? As above, so below. So there's nothing that's happening up in the skies that does not affect your human body. All right. This is why you need to balance your nervous system also because these energies that are coming in, they're going to help you balance your nervous system. But your nervous system needs to be balanced so that Kundalini energy at the base of your spine can travel up, meet that Christos energy, right? The land of milk and honey is not a place externally. The land of milk and honey is inside your pineal gland. It produces a honey and a milk like substance. It is all allegorical. There's nothing happening outside of you that is not happening inside of you. All right? It's all allegories of you. Every great book, whether it's the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, all of those are explaining cycles in the cosmos, but also explaining cycles within yourself. Okay? I am not here to cause fear. My job here is to bring clarity and coherence so you can start to push out your tone frequency of resonance into the ethers because we all have a particular tone. This is why we're able to map out your numbers from your date of birth and be very accurate with it. Okay. I can tell based on your numbers, I can tell your personality. Based on your numbers, I can tell your personality. I can tell some of the things that you need to be able to master in this life, where your challenges and your strength is going to be. Based on your astrological chart, you can also have that too. Your natal chart does that too. I love the numerology part of it because the numerology, to me, paired with the astrology, gives you a broader vision in a totality how you move. So I like to do both. Right. So usually when I have a client, I will, if they're comfortable with it, I would map out their numerology, their date of birth, but I would also map out their personal planets. So you need to know what your personal planets are. That will be your sun, your moon, your Mercury, your Mars, and your Venus. Those are your 5 personal planets. That is how you show up in the world. And depending on how those 5 planets are positioned, as well as depending on how your numbers flow, right, you can meet a lot of things in the world that if you were aware that you had things like this in your chart, you can navigate. I was just talking to somebody today and they had the line of frustration in their chart and they did not know that they had a line of frustration. So what happens when you have a line of frustration in your chart, you have to be very mindful of seeing things the way they are and not creating illusions or not thinking somebody is not this way because you think you're not this way. Right? So you create these expectations for people, and then when it blows up to shit, right? You didn't sit and think about how you didn't read that properly. You didn't read the room. You didn't pay attention to what was said. So you go through these cycles where you continuously set yourself up to be disappointed. And a lot of times you think that you may just, you set for bad luck and people just use you. No, a lot of that is you can have a line of fucking frustration running through your chart. People with the line of passivity that's running through their chart, these are very passive people, right? Very passive people. And then what happens is when you poke the beer too much, they can explode. But once I introduce somebody to this line of passivity in their chart, now they have to learn to start speaking up for themselves instead of shrinking back. And a lot of times what happens is if these things are not developed at early childhood, They become the shit that we got to master in our adulthood, whether you call them shadow work, whether you call them trauma, whether you call them bad habits, whatever, right? These are usually things that we did not master in childhood for whatever reason, or no judgment. And a lot of that is because this knowledge was stolen from us. Well, not stolen, it was hidden. They didn't teach us these things. Imagine if you put kids in school where the teachers are aware of what's going on in the students' birth charts and how they learn. Can you imagine the world that we would be living in if people were actually connected to the truth about themselves instead of being dumped down? Look at this, y'all, 2025. Poor memory, practical, you're not even no intuition, passive, which means you're gonna do what the fuck I say, when I say it, how I say it, versus over here that line of spirituality that's running through the correct day, tapping into your intuition saying turn left, and you don't listen and you turn right. Now you're stuck in traffic for 20 minutes, but if you had turned left, you would have been zoop zoop 2 minutes. It's time to start giving the part of you that cannot be seen, but it can be felt and it can be heard, more credit. Because your higher self is never gonna come to you with some bullshit telling you you ain't shit, you ain't never gonna be shit. No, 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 no. It's gonna correct you, but it's also gonna remind you how powerful, wonderful, beautiful, and amazing you are. Always. And I stand on that. Your higher self ain't never gonna call you a piece of shit. So if you're hearing voices that you can't do this, you're not gonna accomplish this, you ain't gonna be this. First of all, that's a fucking lie unless you believe it. Unless you believe it, then it's not a lie. But that type of voice cannot be your higher self or your guiding spirit or your guides or your ancient ones that be rocking for you. No, the hell it can't. So if you ever trying to understand energy and see what energy is around you, just know that energy that's there to protect, guide, help, assist, they not coming through with no negative shit about who you are. They can call you out on your negative shit, but they're never going to make you feel worthless or unworthy of shit. No matter how you fucked up, no matter what messy shit you done did. It's going to tell you, well, that was hypocritical. Well, you probably shouldn't have cursed them out. Well, you could have been more patient. Well, we tried to warn you about this 2 weeks ago. Well, even today, while your phone wasn't working for an hour, that was us telling you not to do XYZ. It's going to come through and tell you why you're going through what you're going through, but it's also going to let you know, okay, you're going to have another chance to do this over. And the next time that test come up, you just do it differently. It's not going to keep you locked up and boxed up, feeling trapped like you ain't shit. So any energy that's trying to linger to make you forget with this poor memory who the fuck you are, to make you live in some passive shit like you can't stand boldly that you are entitled to every sovereign thing that you was placed here to experience, no more. What timeline you dealing with? Are you still in the old timeline with the matrix shit that's going on? Are you over here in the ancient timeline where they were telling us that we are connected to everything, the cosmos, everything that we breathe? All right, come on. How is 3-eye Atlas and A6 Lemmon even supposed to activate us? That don't even make no sense. Okay, if you've gotten this far in the video, let me break that down to you because everything is energy, my love. And when 3-eye Atlas and A6 Lemmon comes into the scope of the sun and the sun kicks out that solar rays, guess what's happening? Solar dust, my love. Solar dust. And guess what happens with solar dust, my love? You breathe that shit in, my love. Do you know scientifically the breath that you breathe out right in front of you will recycle in China at some point in this lifetime? Breaths are recycled. Energy is recycled and transmuted and transformed. Energy doesn't die. You think I'm crazy? Go look this shit up. You're supposed to go look this shit up. You're supposed to go check into the things that's deemed crazy. Disclaimer, I'm a mystic, so we liable to be a little bit insane. There's a thin line. Go look this stuff up. Figure out who you really are. Figure it out. And you don't got to go outside of yourself to figure this out. I promise you. Everything is going to be internal. I'm gonna say this, and I'm not gonna give no names. I was speaking to a beautiful soul today, and we were unpacking because we had not talked in a long time. Okay, and she's on her path and on her journey, just like we are. And she told me of some incidents that happened to her multiple times. This involved floods. This involved a lot of water damage, not once, but multiple times. Some other precious things that happened. And as I began to take the notes that she was letting me what the story is, and I began to make connection with not just the notes of the flood and the water damage and all of this stuff, there were also things in the pattern that showed that she was connected to a lineage of ancient time called the Black Prophetess or the Black Oracle. And they have been trying to communicate with her through water because that's how they communicate, right? Through water. You got all of this ancient stuff buried in you, and they've been trying to communicate and talk to you, but because you are not aware of the subtile energies, right? We are taught only to see with our two eyes, but we're not taught to feel the room. Do you know you can walk into a room and feel if there's someone energetically in that room? And let me just tell y'all something right here. Sometimes when you feel somebody energetically in a room or in a space with you, it doesn't mean that it is somebody from another side or another dimension. That can also be somebody real time in this earthly realm that's thinking about you and projecting they're projecting themselves into your space energetically. This is why the more tuned in and tapped in you become, you can begin to identify and pick up these energies. And once you've identified and pick up the energies and you know what it feels like or what it doesn't feel like, I'm gonna also give you another power and a tip here, right? Whenever you have energy that you don't recognize or energy that feels uncomfortable, all you have to do is command that energy to leave. Nothing can harm you unless you give it permission. You know, many times I've walked into a room and the energy feels off, and even my guys, and I would just start clapping my hands and letting them know all of y'all got to go. I don't care who's for me, who's not for me, especially if you're not here for my greatest, highest good. You do not belong here. You are not welcome. You got to go. It's time to clear the room. That's the type of power you walk with. Embrace it. Stop shrinking down. We've been shrinking enough. Stop seeking for peace. You've been collecting peace all your life. Seek wholeness. Seek wholeness. When you're whole, you don't need to seek peace because peace just is. When you're whole, you don't need to seek validation because you just are. When you're whole, all you need to do is spend your time remembering who you are, resonating. You don't got to seek for vibration no more. You just got to resonate. Remember, you are the ancient intelligence, my love. You are the ancient intelligence. There's a merging going on of timelines. There's dimensional drifts going on. Okay. I don't know if I took the time to explain to you what a dimensional drift is. It took me a second for me to really understand what they were saying, right? Dimensional drift is when you literally can wake up sometimes and you don't really know what day it is. So you look at the phone and it says maybe it's a Tuesday, but it feels more like a Saturday to you. This is the fuck why. Have you ever gotten up on a day and says, it don't feel like a Saturday or today this Tuesday, but it feels like a Sunday. Have you ever have that ever happened to you guys? That is a dimensional timeline drift. You are not crazy because this calendar over here is not just this calendar over here is not just plus 500 5,500 years, right? It's give or take 500, give or take, we're gonna give it a 10-year gap. Okay, so any place between 5,500 years, but the last 10, okay, there's not a lot of information found about this calendar system because most of it was destroyed. So you do know that all of the other ancient system does stem from this system, but there's not a lot of information out here in this system. So you're going through dimensional drifts, which means that you're jumping in and out of dimension, operating from a matrix calendar, but also operating on your true ancient cosmic calendar. Okay, so there are going to be some dimensional drifts happening, and within those dimensional drifts, you can feel like you've repeated things. You know, how much experience I've had where I feel like I've repeated this. Like, so what we call deja vu. One of the things that I'm experiencing is like that, but it's the same. I've had experiences where I've had the same deja vu moments multiple times. I remember deja vu was not the same experience over again. Like you have one deja vu, but I've had experience within this timeline paradigm that we are, where I've had deja vu for the same experience more than once. So this is why you're gonna get your journal, because you finna track this shit. We starting to charge our waters tomorrow. You're gonna need your journal because we are finna track this, and you finna get activated. All right. So there's some things that we're gonna be tapping into that you need to do for this activation. All right. I do know that they are coming very close to the what is it called? There's a word that they call it. It starts with a P, and I cannot remember the name of the word, but there's a word that they call it as the comet gets closer to the sun. There's a word, perihelion, I think it's called. I think it's called perihelion. You can go ahead and Google that, right? So as these two comets reach their perihelion, okay, or their climax closer to the sun, you're going to be feeling it in the ethers also. Like I was telling Kelly today, girl, I haven't watched the news because I don't watch the news, but I haven't been in the internet or anything. I said, but it feels, the energy feels like there's earthquakes, floods. It feels very like uh, a purge energy. Okay. And she confirmed that all of those things was going on. And then I jumped on to Stephen Burns for a little while, and he was talking about the different earthquakes and stuff. Anyway, let's wrap this up, y'all. I know it's a lot of information, but we are going to be tapping in because we're tuned in, right? Now it's time for us to tap in and resonate. So as these messages come forth, okay, we will be here. Remember, it's in the ear. Pay attention to your words. Pay attention to your thoughts. Okay? Pay attention to what energy you're sending out. Because the energy that's complementing your healing. So the opposite side of the energy that you're going to be dealing with is labeled here as the grace. But the grace energy really just simple. The grace energy really more simplifies like timid energy, right? This energy can be timid. This energy can be shy, right? This energy can be very misunderstood, okay? Very misunderstood energy. So you want to be mindful to maybe stop and think before expressing yourself, especially if you have a hard time expressing yourself, okay? This energy is also very oppressed energy. This is victimhood energy. This is energy maybe of people having a scapegoats because they don't want to deal with things. This energy is not adaptable to the change. So you got one energy over here saying pay attention to what you're putting out in the field, but you got one energy here saying that you may not be supported by some people that don't want to change. You may not be supported by some people that stuck being a victim. You may not be supported because you are in a place where you want to be around relationships where you feel valued, and these people devalue people. That's how they feel strong. What's your truth? And when you find your truth, then you will be able to distinguish energy archetypes like the grays. Now, let me just say this. When this card shows up in reverse, this means people are healing. They're no longer in the space, right, where they're timid or shy. It's no longer me trying to do something to get something, right? It's no longer that. If this energy is in reverse, we're talking about somebody that's empowered, that's learned their lesson, that's building in their confidence, and that's speaking up for themselves. But that's not the lesson that's being accompanied in this energy, because some people don't want to do the work. They're okay with being the victim. They're not understanding that you are the victim because you set it up that way with your thoughts and your emotions. And this does not mean that, good, dumb people don't do, dumb shit to you. That's not what this means. Okay, we're talking about mastery here, right? When you're operating as a master, if you have anything negative that comes into your vortex, what you begin to do is trace it back to you. See, what's going on within you that you would have attracted this experience, right? You can't, you get to a point where you can't blame other people for your shit. I can't make this shit up. Look at this. Remembrance. Didn't I tell you we're in the season of remembrance? Okay. And some of you need to tap into your passion too, especially when it comes to maybe work or money. All right. If you are not tapping into your true origins of why you're here to experience and what you're doing, you can find that the energy may not be as supportive. And it can show up like this. Maybe you're trying to work towards a project and you don't feel as motivated. The funds are not coming through like you thought it would. The plan is not being mapped out the way that you thought it should. Maybe that is because that's not something you're passionate about, right? But you're being pulled because you're trying to create stability financially. But that's not what the fuck spirit told you to do. So you're over here trying to say that you're remembering and you're awakening, but you get prompted maybe to start this thing, but you in your head can't figure out how it's going to unfold. So you don't do what you were prompted to do. You do the opposite. And you want to know why you're frustrated. It's time to remember who the fuck you are. It's time to tap into your passions. We got a lot of threes going on here. We got 38 and we got 34. 3 and 3 equals 6. We're talking about your willpower, the power to create or the power to destroy. What are you creating and destroying mentally? 6 lives on the mental plane. 6 is also connected to sexual energy. And sexual energy it doesn't only have to do with intercourse. Sexual energy is creative energy. So how are you creating within you? What thoughts are you, how are you merging your masculine and your feminine side? How are you making love within your mind? Okay, and when I say making love in your mind, that's your thoughts, your thinking, and your emotion, or your thoughts and your emotion lining up to bring you the experience that you want, or they out of balance and they're not speaking the same tone or the same compassion or the same love to each other. Come on, what do you mean? Okay, I'm finna explain to you what that look like. That looks like you going on a dating site, saying to yourself that you're ready to date, you're open, and you want to meet your true love. You're pulling in your soulmate, but then you get on the phone before you jump on, the dating app to check your messages, and you're telling your girlfriend men ain't shit. You can't trust the man, right? So guess what you finna do? You finna meet somebody on a dating site that's gonna prove to you that men ain't shit because that's the tone and the vibration you're sending out with your words, and your words are going to give flight to your emotions and your actions, which is going to produce your outcome. I know I be sounding like a broken record, but I'm gonna need y'all to get this shit because this is how it works. Not because you don't know the science of how energy moves, mean that you are not affected by it. And you don't got to be no scientist. You don't even got to like tarot. You just got to know the basic foundations of how energy flow. Simple shit like speak into the ethers what you want. Do unto others as you want them done unto you. That's simple shit. It don't matter what religious background you come from or whatever. Like they all give you simple, basic foundation of compassion and love. But you see, you can't love your neighbor or your brother like yourself if you don't fucking love yourself. So a lot of us have been walking around trying to give other people love that we first have not given to ourselves. Time for you to remember. There are going to be distractions because people are set up purposely on the path to test you, right? Like that buffet. Somebody gonna cook the buffet. The question is, are you gonna eat shrimps and you know you're allergic to shrimp? What you finna do? Your choice. This is no longer a season where you can blame anybody for the experience that you were having. Okay? Pay attention to the vetting system. Vet. V means are you moving in victimhood or victory? Pay attention to where people are coming from. Is this a person with a victimhood archetype or personality? You got to be mindful for the victims because the victims really don't want help. They just want somebody they can energetically dump on. E is for experience. Are you enjoying the experience, right? Are you embracing it, or are you trying to escape the experience? And then last but not least, T is for transmutation or transcending, or are you pushing out that you feeling trapped? Like, where are you in this? Right? All right, y'all. I think I did good. We about an hour, or maybe a little over an hour. I'm gonna be back tomorrow. Okay. So y'all know the deal. You want to go ahead, and I really appreciate all y'all loving energy and support because it's a lonely walk, but you don't have to be by yourself. And I thank you guys for showing up and finding the space and the time to show up for yourself today. I thank you guys for that, as I am showing up for myself. Kim says she's going to scroll back to the beginning. Kim, I think you should because I broke down the energy really well, so you can know how this is coming through. Let me know if y'all have any questions. Drop them in the chat, okay? And if you guys have any questions, I will definitely do videos. The next video that I am going to be doing is, and we probably talk about this tomorrow, is the impact in the savior complex. Because you need to understand that, because you're going to need to master that moving into this energy. Kelly and I was supposed to come on yesterday. I am not gonna lie to y'all. I was tired. She did call me around 6:30 to say if we was jumping on, and I told her energetically I couldn't do it and that I had already posted something. So that is going to be coming because she has some stuff she wants to explain. And what am I forgetting? Am I forgetting anything else? I do have meditations coming up. I have so much content coming up for you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay. And I feel like a lot of the content that I have coming up is going to explain a lot of the things that you've been experiencing and going through that you may not have necessarily have words, but you'll be able to connect the dots. Okay. So on that note, my loves, if you came in the middle of the video, I suggest you take it on back to the beginning, right? Go on back to the beginning. It's time for you to remember, okay? All right. Y'all know the deal. Okay, you want to go ahead and do something kind for yourself because you absolutely should. Okay. And you want to do something kind for somebody, not because they deserve it, but because you can. And positivity, confidence, joy, and bliss is contagious. So why not? Right? It's not gonna take you nothing to smile at somebody. A smile goes a long way. You don't know what people's days are like. And if the smile is the only compassion that you can give out here in this world, I say smile all day, baby. Smile all day. Okay? All right. I love you guys so much. I'm sending out so much waves of energy, of love to you guys. We got this, right? We are activated. We got this. We got this. All right. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow in our lives. I don't know if I'm going to be back on here tonight. I promise y'all once a day. Okay. I promise y'all once a day. All right. So if we get on here a second time, that's just icing on the cake. But I did promise y'all once a day. So we did that. All right. So if I'm not back later this evening, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. And remember, do not allow anyone to steal your energy. Okay. Just be mindful of what you're putting your energy on. What you give attention to is what it is going to grow. Okay. I love you guys much. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Bye, my loves.